Got some questions, got some experts with us. We've got Michael Szanto, a foreign policy expert and economist, contributor to the Wall Street Journal, joining us from Florida. And I am going to start with Michael in Florida. Do you trust the Chinese, sir? The Chinese, look, it's an authoritarian government. They control the information flow, a lot of it. Are they being, in your opinion, totally upfront? And isn't there the capacity for them to not be totally honest with the world about what's happening in that country?
Well, clearly they have the capacity not to be upfront, but I don't really think that's the issue here. The issue, and we saw this with H1N1 in Mexico, it's the denominator problem. How many healthy patients are we missing? And there's two sides to it. Healthy patients mean it might not be quite as deadly or as serious as it seems, because less people might be seriously afflicted percentage-wise, but it also makes it easier for the virus to spread, because the healthy people can carry it around the world. But there is a slight advantage, I hate to say it, to the fact that China is a little bit more authoritarian. It can be a little bit more aggressive sometimes in quarantines and things like that than Western democracies.
Totally. I mean, they shut down essentially 3 cities, 30 million people in and out. A lot of drawbacks living in a communist country, but there is that small upside. We also have, you mentioned all the authorities doing their job, but we also have a media system that loves to hype things up, and that could be happening here. However, people do get concerned about an epidemic, an outbreak, and the trajectory here. Go ahead, Michael.
Let me just say they should be, because as far as we know, there will come a day, and I'm very hopeful this is not the day, when we are dealing with something serious that could even, God forbid, approach the Spanish flu pandemic, which actually in 1918 killed more people around the world than World War I. So right now, the estimation, I believe, is a death rate of 2 to 3%. Now, it actually might be much lower if there's a lot of healthy people that even unintentionally the Chinese are missing. This is what we saw with H1N1 in Mexico. The CDC in the U.S. got reports of a lot of dead people in Mexico, but they did not know how many people were sick who had not gone to doctors or hospitals. Right now, we are hearing 2 to 3%. On the one hand, it makes it far less deadly than 2 other deadly coronavirus outbreaks in the last 20 years, SARS, 2003, and MERS, which is just a few years ago. But this is spreading much more than MERS, and a little bit more already than SARS. So it seems to be spreading more. It seems to be a little bit less under control. So 2 to 3% is, by the way, the same estimated death rate as the Spanish flu pandemic. But hopefully that's an overestimation, because the Chinese might unintentionally be missing healthy but very, very mild cases. But the flip side of this is that those people could infect people and be carriers while they have mild cases.
All right, so this is good. Michael, you're making me worried. Dennis, you're kind of making me relax a little bit. I like that. Though the origins, Michael, the origins are disturbing. I'm not one to hype things, but this is something, quite frankly, people are talking about more than impeachment.
Well, I mean, complacency with something like this is dangerous. So I'm hoping that we're not going to see a death toll much greater than what we saw with SARS in 2003. And we're already sort of reaching that. I'm hoping it won't be any higher. And I agree that right now it's insignificant compared to all kinds of things we see every year, including seasonal flu. But what I'm afraid will happen is that I hope that not many more people will die, but then I'm afraid that people will go, oh, it's just the media hyping it, and eventually we're hit by something like Spanish flu pandemic, and there is no guarantee that our science could provide answers fast enough right now, current state of science. With H1N1, we were mostly just lucky because there were a few people who were young and healthy who they had to put on heart bypass machines for H1N1. Some of them lived and some of them died. And the only thing that saved us from major death toll is it hit far less people than the CDC originally feared. And basically, that's a fluke, thank God, miracle of the genetics of H1N1. So we just don't know. It is not true that we have some silver bullet, or especially since, by the way, we have more experience right now with influenza vaccines, which are far.
Got to go to the commercial. I don't think they have to do that in China, by the way. No commercial. And I think you're both right. Michael Szanto, thank you very much. Great information.